It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Tonicon. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stores are watching this Friday, October 3. Typhoon Paulo has slightly weakened while traversing the mountainous region of northern Luzon. It was last spotted in the vicinity of Mayoyao, Ifugao. Paulo is forecast to cross the northern Luzon landmass throughout the day and exit the Philippine Area of Responsibility tomorrow morning. 6 areas in Luzon are under signal number 4, including parts of Isabela, Quirino, and Nueva Vizcaya. Signal number 3 is hoisted over the central and northern parts of Aurora, the rest of Isabela, the rest of Quirino, and the central portion of Nueva Vizcaya. 12 areas are under signal number 2, including parts of Cagayan, Nueva Vizcaya, and Apayao. Meantime, areas under signal number 1 are now being flashed on your TV screens. Authorities have halted retrieval operations in Cebu province 3 days after the deadly 6.9 magnitude earthquake there. The death toll has risen to 73, while at least 297 people have been injured. Officials are now shifting focus to relief efforts as residents struggle with hunger, fear, and the lack of power, water, and shelter. Private lawyer Marvin Aceron has filed an ethics complaint against Senator Cheese Escudero. That's over a 30 million peso campaign donation from businessman Lawrence Lubiano, who controls Centerways Construction. Aceron claimed that 35 million pesos disappeared from the company's books during the donation period, with SEC filings showing 3 different versions for the same fiscal year. He also noted that government contracts in Sorsogon rose sharply from 720 million pesos in 2021 to 15.9 billion pesos between 2022 and 2025. Escuderos dismissed the complaint as political retribution and calls it part of the so-called script of former Speaker Martin Romualdez. And progressive groups led by Akbayan staged a noise barrage at the People Power Monument to demand accountability in the flood control scandal. The groups vowed to keep pressuring government until stolen funds are returned and officials are jailed. Teachers also held a walkout today, marching from España to Menjola to protest corruption, low wages, and the state of public education. And joining us today, buka naman ng tuwid. Parang ang liit mo eh. Ayan. Konti. Parang ang liit mo tuloy eh.
Simula pa lang, napagalitan. Wala na kayong principal.
Oo nga, wala pa yung principal. Kasama mo natin ngayon ang ating political heckler, of course, si Raul Llamas.
Maulang hapon po.
Maulang hapon. Oo. Naway kayong lahat ay nasa ligtas na kalagayan ngayon na ngayong may bagyo at kakatapos lamang ng lindol.
Okay, isa po tayo sa ating mga kababayan sa Central Visayas. Madala tayo ng mga tulong at kung kaya ay tayo mismo ang pumunta.
At ang ating kasamaan, si Principal ay mamaya-maya ay hahabol. Pero doon sa Parañaque City, kasama natin ang ating ang boss ng Philippine Star, si Ami Pamintuan.
Hi, Ami.
Oy, Ami, naka-mute ka ata.
Naka-mute ka.
Ami, naka-mute ka ata. Try again. Wala pa tayong audio.
Naka-mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Ayan. O, sige.
Ganda
Ayan.
naman,
Pati buong weekend daw. Kaya hindi good afternoon. Masama panahon eh.
Oo nga.
At saka mukhang masama ang tama dun sa norte. Hindi lang Visayas ngayon na magiging disaster area. Baka over the weekend marami na namang mga aksidente dun sa norte. Kaya ayan.
Ganda naman ang damit mo, Ami ah. Napaka-elegant
malungkot ang weekend.
Ano ba yun? Hindi naman
pambagyo yan. Saka
hindi naman ukay yan, no? Hindi ukay? Hindi ukay?
Nag-ano tayo, wala, manipis lang yan.
Hindi, si Ami Pamintuan, hindi nag-uukay-ukay yan.
Ako, 80% ng damit ko ukay.
Dudu?
Lalo na mga jackets.
Dudu?
Mga jackets.
UK yan, UK. UK.
Si Ami mukhang ano yan, mukhang tailored talaga yan.
Yeah.
Talaga naman, ha? Talaga.
Power dressing, ha?
Power dresser yan.
Power dresser, ha? Passionista. Tawag dyan, passionista. Happy weekend po. Sa lahat.
Nakikiluksa po tayo dun sa mga tinamahan Ngayon naglalabasan yung mga video dun sa sa disaster area, talaga nakakaawa talaga eh.
You're talking about Cebu or you're talking about up north, yung sa Baguio?
Cebu, wala pa yung sa North. Ngayon pa lang tumatama siya.
No, but I've been seeing already in social media some images sa mga baha.
Hindi maganda yung hapon sa ngayong this weekend.
Have you been getting any reports, Ami, from up north dun sa Baguio?
Wala pa, yun nga, nag-intensify siya, nag-signal number 4, di ba?
Pero,
wala pa yung mga yung mga damage eh. Minomonitor natin ngayon. Medyo malakas yun, signal number 4.
Yeah,
lakas yun. Pero aside sa Baguio, parang slow day, no? Wala masyadong privileged speeches.
Wala nang away nung nung asot pusa, wala na. Wala na yung asot pusa away.
Alam mo, tanda ko pa nung nagko-cover ako sa Kongreso, long ago, panang panimitra yun eh.
Long time ago talaga yun.
Ikaw, instigador ka na nun eh. Yung Biyernes, magmula pa noon, ang Biyernes, wala talagang session yan. They're supposed to have gone to their districts, to their constituents to do their legwork. Well, that's the ideal. That's assuming that they really are doing legwork. Pero as a matter of policy talaga, every Friday, wala na yan. And then there came a point na pati Thursday sinama nila. Tapos there was also a point later on na pati Monday sinama na. So there was a point na parang...
Nakakapagod ikaw naman.
There was a point na parang ilang araw na lang ang weekday ng mga congressman in session. So, but I think they again reverted back to... Friday and sometimes Thursday na lang sila with their constituencies. So kahit paano at least nabalik sa trabaho.
Pero in the age of social media kasi, pwede ka naman maglabas ng statement, diba? Pwede ka mag-post.
Oh,
diba?
that's the advantage of social media now.
And that can be very controversial.
Kasi it makes it look like you're really at work.
Yes. A simple post talagang kanyan. May impact yan, no? Kaya hindi mo pwede talagang sabihin na walang nangyayari. Dahil pwede nilang gawin yan eh.
O teka, yung ating principal, meron ka bang excuse letter?
Pag principal, hindi kailangan excuse.
Yeah, ako nga. Ikaw talaga.
Hindi pa siya naka-microphone. Ang sabi ng ating principal, pag principal ka, hindi mo kailangan excuse letter.
Oh, yeah.
Umuupo pa lang, bumabato na eh.
Welcome sa ating principal. Teka, nagsusot pa ng
yung mga teacher nag-rally ngayon kayo talaga. Ahead of World Teachers Day.
Oo nga. Tsaka may rally ngayon sa People Power Monument.
Akbayan.
Sino ba yun?
Oo nga.
Sino ba yung...
Sino ang tayo nun?
Weekend, umuulan, nagra-rally. Ano ba yan?
Kayo talaga mga
Tapos na ba? Outgoing pa ba? Tapos na, di ba?
Kanina, Youth Against Corruption. Yak! Yak! Talagang yak.
Sino kayo nakaisip nun?
Youth Against...
Yan ang ating...
Kadiri.
Principal at large.
Kumakalat, nagiging global yung mga protesta against corruption, pati Morocco, pati Madagascar, di ba?
Matindi yung sa Morocco,
At karamihan, mga bata talaga yung nag-spearhead.
Gen Z. Tsaka parang Nepal, at tsaka
medyo
Belgrade,
sila.
Indonesia, talagang sunugan.
Medyo aktivista, hindi kalmadong
Hindi katulad namin
kalmadong mass action.
Hindi katulad namin Ed na very peaceful, very subdued. No?
Nasasangkot lang sa kung ano-ano. Let's welcome our principal at large.
Yeah.
Principal at large.
Minsan lang ako malate. I apologize, by the way, for being late. As you can see,
sa presinto mo liwanag.
tropical depression sa
hindi
labas ng
dilim
traffic.
dyan.
Magpaliwanag.
Pero kaya nga, the concept is, pag principal ka, hindi ka na kailangan magpaliwanag. I take my cue from our politicians.
Habang nag-apologize, galit pa eh.
Kasalanan pala ng ganyan.
Pag ikaw yung proponent, pag ikaw yung principal, hindi kailangan magpaliwanag.
Yung mga proponent, masamang word dyan ngayon. Yung mga proponent.
Ito yung privilege speech ko.
Bad word dyan.
As a principal, I have every right to not explain myself.
Diba? Huwag ka magpaliwanag sa presinto. Banatan mo yung iba. Na
deflect.
Na nahuli ng jaywalking. Diba?
Oo. Like, kayo, mga instigators.
Kasama natin, di ba?
Ganun talaga.
Bad word dyan, proponent, Baka kayo mapailan ng kaso.
Actually,
yung mga kumpanya ni Diskaya, pinailan na ng sa Competition Commission. Baka daw sila ma-fine 300 billion.
Uy, laki
300 billion.
At saka sabi ni Senator Cheese, lahat ng nag-disparage sa kanya, kakasuhan niya. Kano karami?
Marami.
Hindi kasi marami siya sa social media na
He's only talking about a
ewan ko
select
kung mahahabol
few.
niya lahat yan.
Pero interesting, no, na naging, it became a bad word. Proponent is not a bad word by any measure out in the English dictionary. Dito lang naging
proponent
bad
for
word.
transparency, for good governance.
Dito lang naging, parang, who is the proponent
Budget
of this
proponent.
insertion? But just like insertion is not a bad word, right?
Oo nga.
We just made it a bad word.
Power of the person eh. Kaya ka binibigay sa Congress,
Correct.
di ba?
Realignment is not a bad word. Naging, nagkaroon lang ng masamang connotation because of...
Being late is not a bad word, no?
Tardiness is not a bad word.
Gumano naman. Circling back.
Sometimes tardiness can be excused,
Oh,
right?
Yes, yes.
Oo
nga.
Ibali Reg, kapag siya naman yung na-late, gantihan mo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ganun talaga.
Kahit nga hindi late, kinagantihan.
Ay, teka, for our viewers, abangan nyo mamaya ng konti. Meron tayong report, of course, from Cebu, from our reporter there. And later in the program, we will have live in the studio.
Palace
Sabi.
spokesperson.
No less than
Ganun magsabi.
Palace spokesperson, Undersecretary.
Claire Castro.
Also known as
Ang lakas
Anti-Claire
ng
to
ulan
some people.
dito, Malakas ba ulan dyan? Ang lakas ng
Oh,
buhos.
it comes and goes,
Pabugso-bugso.
Ami. Oh, pabugso-bugso.
Ito ngayon parang wala.
Oh.
Pero ang dilim.
Madilim. Oo. And definitely, may traffic na, tsaka may konting areas na may baha.
Yeah.
So, yun yung pag-uusapan natin with...
O kanina, grabe.
Castro.
Na-traffic ako ng husto, pero hindi ako na-late.
Which means...
Wala lang.
Buti malayo ako.
Wala akong naisip pahiwatig. Sabi ko lang, na-late lang. Kahit
Baka
pa.
kasi
Hindi,
privileged
nasa norte naman yung bagyo eh. Hindi naman mahina pa dito sa atin. Pero
Oo nga naman.
ang lakas ng ulan dito.
Pabugso-bugso lang naman, pero pag pumatak, malakas. So,
Pero yung,
minsan ang
yung
problema ko
delikado yung sa norte, baka magka-mudslide na naman doon.
Yeah. Ang problema mo kasi minsan pag malakas ang maiksi pero malakas sa bugso ng ulan na-overwhelm
Yes.
yung sewage system kasi sabay-sabay bumagsak.
Tsaka yun nga, sabi nga ni Ami, flash floods, tsaka yung mga
At
landslides.
na-overwhelm yung mga
Yun
driver kaya bagal magbaneho kaya nagka-traffic.
Nahanap ko nga yung mga jacket natin noong isang gabi.
Gore-Tex yun, ha?
Daming daming umalas ka sa akin eh, no?
Bagay rin sa'yo eh.
Mukha daw tayong mga tukmol. Nakapatig jacket sa safe house. Lahat kami naka-jacket.
Ano raw tukmol? Ikaw sabi ko.
Wala.
Ayoko.
Wala.
Ami, ano raw tukmol?
Ano ang tukmol?
Hindi alam ni si Reg. Ako alam ko si Reg. Tanong niya.
Bagong labas.
Hindi ko nga alam.
Nga siya.
Bagong lagas ng kuweba.
Hindi niya.
Wala na sa kuweba pa.
Nagtatanong nga si Reg ko ng tukmol. Anong tukmol?
Wala sa lasal nun.
And it's not safe for consumption on air.
We've been saying it so many times already. So
Hindi ko nga alam what it is.
it's a bit too late for you to ask that.
Okay. Okay, change topic na lang tayo.
Yeah.
Selective justice. Ang pag-uusapan natin with Yusek Castro.
Yeah.
Sino nagsabi nun? Si Senator Cheese Escudero.
Well, that among other things. Of course, before that, we have updates from Typhoon. From the.
Typhoon na pala, sorry. Typhoon Paolo.
And also from Cebu.
Call natin.
We're trying, pero mahirap yung signal. Hindi yata natin
There were some
nakuha.
questions about that image that went viral na naka-plastic bag yung mga tao. Not naman unlikely kasi pag umuulan, garbage bag talaga yung katapat eh. So not naman unusual.
Ginawa din nila yun nung COVID, di ba?
Oo.
Nung
Kaya
wala pa
mojo
tayong mga
natin,
PPE.
sinabi naman na meron talaga.
Oo. Kasi there were some questions na ito ba'y peke o hindi. So it's not unlikely na nangyari yan.
Yes.
Yan, no?
Yes.
Yan, no? Lalo kung malamig. Alam mo kapag malamig, mag-plastic ka, papawisan ka nga sa loob. Hindi nga.
Remember we asked Mon Gualvez about that yesterday. Sabi niya, hahanapin pa niya. As of this moment, wala pa tayong confirmation. But, some of our colleagues checked into kung sino yung una nag-post nito. Mukhang legitimate person naman.
And you can see the condensation inside the plastic bag. That means na, that probably means na
Humihinga.
Humihinga. Tsaka medyo mainit sa loob at malamig sa labas. Kaya nagko-condense.
Tapos yung isa nating mojo, sinabi, hindi lang dyan sa lugar na yan. Sa iba rin may ganyan.
But the point is,
Kasi
kulang
nga,
ng tents.
Yeah.
Kulang nga kasi nung ano, di ba? Pinag-usapan
Hindi nga
natin
tent
yung
eh.
kahapon.
Mosquito
Kulang
net
yung
nga
modular
eh.
tent na waterproof.
Yung red.
Di ba?
Oo, yung red.
The orange one.
Kahapon.
The modular
orange show
tent.
kahapon.
Ah.
Hindi nga siya
It's not a
actually
tent.
evacuation tent.
Well, sabi naman ni Mon kagabi when he did the report for Frontline Tonight, sabi niya, ang sabi kasi ng LGU, those really are indoor tents for inside the evacuation center to give
Hindi
to give
siya pang
privacy
outdoor.
talaga.
Oh.
Oo nga, pero nasa labas siya eh.
Oo nga eh.
Kaya hindi siya indoor.
Kaya ang ginagawa ng mga tao, pag umuulan daw, binabaliktad nila yung tent. Kasi yung lining
Gagawin
ng tent,
mong
yung
bubong,
mas makapal.
oo.
Oo.
Ang tawag dyan, Filipino resiliency.
Resiliency.
Na pinagmamalaki
Gagawin
nila.
mong
Ay, nako. It's about time.
Gobyerno.
We flip that narrative on
Ayan,
Filipino
no?
resiliency.
Resiliency.
It's, I mean, it's too much. Sobra na.
Of course.
Sobra na. Itong
Talaga?
di gina-glorify natin yung Filipino resiliency.
Parang lagi nila siyang excuse
Yeah.
sa kakulangan. Diba?
Excuse for the government's shortcomings. I guess this
Saka
is why...
considering we get, we run through the alphabet of typhoons every year. Dapat handang-handa na tayo, di ba?
And yun
We've
nga,
had so much practice, no? Parang we keep getting practice, but we never seem to get it
Saka ang
right.
dami ngayong mura ng mga prefab. Yung ina-assemble lang in 1-2 hours. Tapos ako na talaga, very stable na. Hindi to panahon ng kwan eh. Nung panahon ni Ed, nung 1980s. Panahon na ito ng kwan eh. Ng 21st century.
I don't even think the government has budgeted for such structures. Yung mga
Actually,
prefabs.
actually,
Puro tents lang eh, no?
Actually, mura lang siya. Yung mga prefab.
And the funny thing is, yesterday they were talking about we will put up a tent city. That's already 3 days after the earthquake. Parang
Pwede mo kasi yung mga...
Magte-tent city pa lang tayo.
Dire-diretso kasi, Ed. It comes back to yung the idea behind Filipino resilience. Tignan mo, today we're talking about typhoon. Yesterday we're talking about earthquake. Hindi pa nga ayos yung situation with the earthquake. Meron na naman typhoon. Tapos merong floods. Meron ko, may
So
volcano
we are
eruption
very
pa.
well practiced.
Yes, but that doesn't mean we have to put up with this.
No, yeah.
doesn't
Practice
mean-
should make perfect already.
Practice should make perfect in a perfect world.
Lalo na, yung Pilipinas daw, ang number one most prone sa natural disaster sa buong mundo.
Correct.
So, ibig sabihin, yung preparation natin, dapat mas doble sa ibang bansa or even triple.
Kasi sanay na.
Oh, so...
Basta number 1 tayo, okay na yon. Number 1 sa World Risk Index tayo.
Parang na lang
O,
yun,
di
di ba?
okay
Parang,
na. Number 1 na tayo.
parang world record tayo sa pinakamalaking pansit, pinakahabang
World
chorizo.
At pinakamabilis magbigay ng
Hindi,
excuses.
baka may kalaban tayo sa isang bansa. May kalaban tayo, hindi ko nababanggitin ko ulit.
Okay po. I think we need to take a break lang, and when we come back,
Yeah.
we will be having with us Palace Press Officer Claire Castro here in the studio. So stay tuned to StoryCon.
Okay, welcome back to StoryCon, and as promised, we have live in the studio with us today, Palace Press Officer Under Secretary Claire Castro. Welcome, Yusek. Thanks for joining us again
Good
on a
afternoon,
very
Rich.
rainy day. Too.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon po.
Ed
Happy,
and-
happy weekend.
Sir Ronald.
And
Bakit
then-
si Ronald Meser?
Ay, kagalang-galang po.
Gen Z siya,
Do you agree?
Yusek. Gen Z daw siya.
Gen Z.
Parehas kaming uste. Ito, Lasal.
Okay.
Hindi naman eskwelahan yan.
At doon sa Zoom, si Ami Pamintuan, ng bossing ng Philippine Star.
Hi, Yusek.
Good afternoon, sir. Ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
Oh, you can, you wanna
There's a
start
lot
with,
of
no?
things we want to talk about. Where do you want to start? Sa ICI?
Sige.
Okay.
Sige.
So, ano ba yan, Yusek? Do you want to set the record once and for all about this tiff with Mayor Magalong?
About
I
what?
mean, there's been a lot of exchange of words.
Medyo maanghang po yung mga binibitaw ni
And,
Magalong.
and the latest on that is he says that he feels like he struck a nerve.
Yes.
So we're
I
trying
heard that.
to-
I heard that.
Doon sa inyong conflict of interest remark daw.
Oh.
At ang
So,
tingin niya, dahil kayo yung spokesperson, kayo yung alter ego ng presidente, may konting bendisyon, no? Kaya na-hurt
Hindi,
siya.
what
no?
I heard a while ago, parang iba yung kwento niya na parang there's someone who is powerful who asked me to do that and he thinks it's not the president. So, malaking malaking blunder on his part. Because I will only be speaking as palace officer At wala po tayong ibang sasabihin doon kundi kung ano po yung manggagaling sa palasyo at kung ano yung manggagaling sa Pangulo. With regard to the fact na I was told by the President na if there is any violation of the Constitution regarding the position and that he will be asking the legal team, galing po talaga yun sa Pangulo. So hindi pwedeng sabihin po ni Mayor Magalong na may nag-utos lamang sa akin nun. Hindi po magandang insinuation yung sinasabi niya. And at the same time, if he thinks there's someone powerful who asked me to do that, name names. Tell me. Kung sino yan? Kasi sabi nga kanina, hanggat wala siyang pinapangalanan, itong kanyang mga insinuation ay mananatiling guni-guni at haka-haka. At as an investigator, siguro dapat mas clear ang kanyang sinasabi at specific. Kasi otherwise, pwede siyang makapanira ng integridad ng ibang tao. Malamang at ito ay madadami pa ang Pangulo. Although, ililis ko ang Pangulo dito dahil ako lang naman ang kanyang tinitira dito or pinaparinggan. But still, sino yung sinasabi niya na powerful na nag-utos sa akin? Di umano. Pero sinabi rin niya naman, niya na hindi niya alam. So, kung wala siyang alam dito, bakit niya pa sasabihin ito na may someone powerful na nag-utos sa akin pero hindi niya alam? So, parang contradicting.
At meron daw may nagsabi daw sa kanya na hindi niya trabaho ang mag-imbestiga. Ang trabaho daw niya ay mag-advise lang. Alam niyo ba kung sino nagsabi sa kanya noon? Na hindi daw niya trabaho sa ICI na mag-imbestiga. Ang trabaho lang daw niya ay mag-advise. Kaya ano pang ginagawa niya ron? Isang dahilan daw kung bakit siya umalis.
Okay, ganito po kasi yan. Na sabi na natin before na siya po ay inalok talaga ng Pangulo. Nalok siya po talaga. At tinanggihan niya po kasi. So kapag ka po nagdoble po yung trabaho niya, there will be conflict doon sa position. Hindi conflict of interest, but more on the position that it will be considered as against the Constitution. Kasi magduduwa siya.
Why didn't the palace think of that before? I mean, you have to admit it looks bad on Malacanang because he was in position for what, a week? Bago binawi or bago siya nag-resign?
No, hindi po binawi. Ganito po kasi yan. Nung hindi po siya pumayag na mag-resign as mayor, talagang kailangan lang po special investigator, special advisor in his voluntary capacity. So, hindi dapat din nagko-conflict doon sa trabaho niya as mayor dahil voluntary lang po eh. Pero yung nakita po siguro ng marami na po nakapansin na nag-investigate siya and at the same time, during sa EDSA Shrine Rally, he made a confession that he had no more time for Baguio as a mayor because he's too busy attending his obligations and duties to the ICI. So, definitely, magko-conflict yun being a mayor.
You're saying he tried to resign as Baguio mayor? Baguio City mayor?
He did not want.
He didn't want.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the reason.
You're saying then that the palace expected him to resign?
Kasi meron pong ino-offer. That's why may ino-offer sa kanya. Na mas malaking role.
As a member of the
yes.
talaga.
As a member.
As a member. And part of it is being an investigator.
So that the trade-off for that would have been you take this position but you will have to resign. That
yes.
was made clear to him at
yes.
the start.
Sabi ng Pangulo, we cannot blame him. Pinili niya maging
that was made clear to him at that time?
At the time, it was, okay.
That when he was being offered as a member?
Yes, because at that time, it's the president who made this press briefing and he was considered as a special advisor. And at the same time, inamin din naman po ni Mayor Magalong na wala po siyang papel na hawak. So I think sana po nakakuha siya ng anong papel for him to know the details ng kanyang role and as yung kanyang gagawing obligasyon.
Tapos, si Mayor Magalong sent me a video earlier featuring you on two separate dates. September 13, 2025, you were quoted as saying, tinatalaga siya bilang special advisor.
Hindi po,
Sa 26, ang sinabi niyo raw ay hindi siya tinatalaga sa pag-iimbestiga, only as a special advisor. Pero sa September 13, you were quoted as saying that he is an investigator as well.
Acting as investigator for the ICI, not special advisor and investigator. But when the president made his press briefing, it was very clear. Even in the code card, his designation, or let's say, he was just considered as a special advisor. So, malinaw naman po yun. And that's September 15. So, September 15, mas latest po yun kaysa sa ating nasabi noong September 13. Because nga po of his refusal to let go of the position as mayor of Baguio.
So hindi po sila nag-usap beforehand na, Mayor, you need to resign po before I can give you this position. I would have thought that was an important thing to talk about before making any announcement. Kasi mayor nga po siya ng isang malaking syudad sa norte.
Alam naman po niya talaga hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng dual role. That's why he's special advisor in a voluntary capacity. Ganun po yun nangyari.
Yusek actually, hindi lang naman yan yung medyo malalabo. Yung ibang mga observers ng ICI, meron nga daw kailangan pa rin linawin daw na mandate ng ICI, saka yung resources, yung mga tao, parang may mga kulang na kailangang iklaro. And apart from that, merong mga tao, including congressmen, na nagsasabi na dapat i-open to the public. Nilinaw ba yon dun sa ICI na, kasi inaasahan ng mga tao, akala nila parang agraba board dyan eh. O kaya yung sa fact-finding dun sa Manila, yung Rizal Park hostage taking, akala nila bukas. So nilinaw ba yun dun sa ICI kay Justice Reyes siguro na kailangan i-open nyo yan kasi yun ang expectation ng tao. O from the start, malinaw. Kailangan closed door yan and you will be functioning. In fact, hanggang ngayon hindi malinaw kung ano yung role nila eh. Prosecutorial ba sila? Fact-finding? Ano bang ginagawa? Kasi parang ngayon, parang naduduplicate lang eh. May kukunin sila, papasa sa ombudsman, papasa sa DOJ. Yung mga kaso, parang nadagdagan lang ng layer.
Okay, ma'am, ganito po yan. Yung kung mag-investigate sila, kung gagawin itong public, nasa ICI na po yan. Kung ano po yung magiging polisiya nila dahil nga ito ay independent from the executive at hindi po makikialam ang Pangulo. Sa kanila na po yan. Kung ano yung proseso pong gagawin nila, nasa ICI na po yan. At yung sinasabi niyo po, ano yung isang question ni Ma'am Ami? Yung
role niya, prosecutorial ba siya? Fact-finding, ano ba exactly yung dapat gawin?
Base sa EO 94 po kasi as we speak po, ang sinasabi po dyan ay recommendatory po. So lahat po na magagather nila na documents, they recommend it for the filing of the case to the ombudsman or to the DOJ po. So kumbaga sila lang po yung magagather ng evidence at kung may makikita po sila na prima facie, pwede po nila ito ipasa at bahala na rin po ang ombudsman dahil ang ombudsman naman po ay it has also the authority and the power to initiate the investigation. So mas mapapadali na po sa mas mapapadali on the part of the DOJ and ombudsman kung kompleto na po yung papel at checkin na lamang po. So mas madali na po. Kaya isa-isahin po nila yon.
Pero anong major difference? But at the same time, pwedeng mag-motu proprio yung di ba? DOJ and ombudsman. Kasi yung DOJ, inutusan din yung NBI na mag-investigate.
Kasi ma'am,
so pwede silang separate bodies and they can proceed as well.
Yes, ma'am. But pag DOJ po and ombudsman, tandaan natin, hindi lang po flood control projects, anomalous flood control projects ang iniimbestigahan nito. Marami po ito. Pero pagka meron pong isa na pinaka-investigating body, tutok po sila sa issues na to, infrastructure, flood control projects, mas madali na po silang mag-investigate lahat ng pwede lang kunin documents and then they can recommend for the filing of the case.
But on the other hand, yung resources ng DOJ, NBI, sa ombudsman mas far greater than yung nakikita natin ngayon sa ICI. In fact, wala pa kami nakikita ngayon na yung staff nila, gaano ba kalaki yun ngayon. I mean, if you compare it with the prosecution service, kasi nainisip ng mga tao, kung ganyan din lang, bakit din alam mag-DOJ?
Hindi po, kasi
ang hinihintay ngayon, parang yung sa Senate, na alisin lang natin sa Senado kasi sabit nga yung mga, sa tingin natin, sabit yung mga senador, kaya ililipat sa ibang komisyon. Kaya yun ang iniintay nila. Bakit hindi naging open?
Ma'am, I cannot talk in behalf of the ICI. May spokesperson po sila kung ba't ganun po yung kanilang procedure. But when it comes to DOJ and Ombudsman, as I have said a while ago, meron pa po, let's say yung DOJ, meron pong missing sa Bongeros. Ang dami pong pwedeng, marami po. Kahit po ako before na as practicing lawyer before, lahat ng kaso, tatambak po talaga sa DOJ. So, there should be one committee or commission
doing a separate investigation on it.
Yes.
But President Marcos, as the one who created this body, can ask them to open the proceedings. Hindi ba?
Yeah.
Maybe can suggest, but still, independent po ito. Hindi niya po ito pwedeng panghimasukan. So, sasabihin naman po, pag inutusan niya po yung ICI, sabihin niya, hawak niya yun.
Hindi naman sa utos, but just to say, because the
Parang
people are
procedural
clamoring
lang.
for transparency, you have to open the proceedings.
It depends upon the chairman. Kasi kung ang gusto po niya, medyo hindi ganon ka-open because yung mga taong pwede mabanggit lang, biglang maging judgmental lahat ng tao, lahat yan akusado. Pero yung pala, na-name drop lang. So, mahirap din po on the part nung naaakusahan. Siguro yun po yung tingin ng ICI sa ngayon.
Siguro, Yusek, ang pwede, may mga parts ng investigation
Yes,
na pwedeng,
na-close.
may executive session, may mga parts na pwedeng open. Yung ganong klaseng combination. Para ma-assuage yung publiko na hindi naman ito
Because
very private.
because the fear, I think a lot of people are worried that this could just become another channel or another avenue to hit the political enemies. Right, is what they're saying. Number one, it could be another avenue for the administration to, threaten or rein in their political enemies. And number two, na it could be also a way for them to protect their own allies or family.
But anyway, let's just wait how the ICI will do this. Let's just wait for that. We cannot judge on that. So let's see why this ICI does not want to make it public. Baka po meron namang, with all your suggestions, baka maiba naman po yung kanilang procedure.
I was just wondering, I'm sure you read the statement of Mayor Magalong over the weekend. May sinasabi siya na recent developments have cast questions on the independence of the commission. I'm wondering if you have any idea kung saan galing yung hugot na yun.
Ano yung ibig niya sabihin?
Kaya nga po, sabi nga natin, he should explain his own words. I can explain what he's trying to say. And sabi nga natin, he said na he believes that he's struck a nerve. Who's that? And who's that? So he should explain all his findings. Kung may findings siya, wag puro insinuation.
Para pwede niyong sagutin.
Para pwede kong sagutin. Hindi ko alam yung ibig niya sabihin. May findings siya. Where are the pieces of evidence? Dapat may nakalatag na ebidensya yan bago po siya magsalita. Kasi yun naman din po ang gusto ng Pangulo. Everything should be clear. Everything should be defined. Diba? It should be defined. So, ibigay niya. Kung meron siyang ebidensya, then he can file it as a taxpayer or he can give all those pieces of evidence to the ICI.
Yes, we understand.
Meron siyang
I think what really bothers some people is just a few weeks ago, parang the president was all praises for Magalong, for Mayor Magalong, and then what he could do for the ICI and for the investigation. Tapos ngayon biglang may parting of ways na hindi very friendly. So nagbago ang ihip ng hangin, nagbago yung mga
just a few days.
Oo, in just a few days. So ano kaya nangyari doon? Saan nagkaroon ng banggaan? Saan nagkaroon ng kiskisan?
And actually, sabi po natin, nagpapasalamat pa nga ang Pangulo kay Mayor Magalong sa kanyang mga naitulong. Hindi naman po siya pinagre-resign ng Pangulo maliwanag to. Hindi siya pinagre-resign ng Pangulo. Titignan lang po kung ano yung maposible na magkakaroon ng issue if ever na yung kanya palang posisyon ay magiging contradictory sa Constitution, paano siya magpa-function as such, at baka ma-invalidate yung mga ginawa niya dahil hindi pala dapat siya nandoon. So yun lang po yung point ng Pangulo, pero hindi po siya inilalaglag ng Pangulo. Siya lang po yung nag-resign.
May isang konkretong binanggit si Mayor Magalong na sabi niya ay below the belt. Yung 120 million daw sa project ng Diskaya sa tennis court. Sa inyo ba nang galing?
Hindi.
Hindi. So anong ibig sabihin niya na below the belt daw?
When you talked about yung tennis court, that wasn't a signal to him?
It did not come from me. It's from the reporter. He asked me about that.
Ayan, sinabi na sa inyo, BJ.
Yes. Prior to that, Ma'am Ami, it was already an issue. News. Hindi po sa akin galing I was just asked about that. Kasi tinanong nila, the first question being thrown to me, was how Attorney Hosaka was chosen. Diba? And
Well, he was a
sabi
former
namin,
Supreme Court spokesperson
Yes.
too. So, may
So,
connection with Justice Reyes.
Yes, ang sabi namin, hindi po ang Pangulo ang pumili sa kanya. Choice po siya ng ICI at nirekomenda sa Pangulo. Because we still want this independence na makita ng tao na hindi nakikialam ang Pangulo. And a follow-up of that, because of yun na nga nangyari kay Mayor Magalong. Pero nagiging issue na po yan. That's why I was able to ask that to the President a day before. Sabi ko, may kumakalat na pong issue, not because of the tennis court, but yung position nagkakaroon ng parang dual role. So, kaya sabi ng Pangulo sa akin, sige, let the legal team do the study on that. So, yun lang naman. Pero bakit naman naging, insult? Hindi po ako yung nag-start ng tennis court. Hindi po sa akin nanggaling yun.
Naka-apekto ba dito sa controversy or dito sa pag-alis niya yung mga batiko sa kanya, hindi lang sa social media, kung hindi halimbawa ni Senator Trillanes, na siya daw ay masyadong defensive sa mga Duterte. Is that a factor dito? Dito sa issue na to?
Nung nagkausap ko yung Pangulo po, hindi po namin napag-usapan yon. Basta ang sabi lang po is the position. Kung may matatamaan po ba na provisions sa Constitution, yun po ipapaaral sa legal team. Ganun po.
So anong pong description nyo ngayon ng ties ni Mayor Magalong with Malacanang? Kumusta po sila ni Presidente, for example? Sila mismo dalawa.
Sabi po niya kanina sa interview niya with Sir Ted Filon, hindi pa naman daw po niya nakakausap ang Pangulo. The last time po na nagkausap sila ay nung pumunta ang Pangulo sa Baguio.
At ang sabi niya kanina ay naniniwala pa rin siya sa ICI. At kung meron siya may tutulong, ay tutulong siya.
Maganda po yun. Napakagandang salita po yun na manggagaling sa isang mayor, Benji Magalong.
Okay, Yusek, before we run out of time, let me
Bang-
bring in other topics.
Ibang
Cambio
issues
tayo.
naman.
Some people are criticizing you for allegedly defending former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Why are you serving as his spokesperson daw when you are the palace press officer and your only job is to speak on behalf of the palace? What do you have to say to that? Hindi ko na maalala exactly what you said, but you did say something at a press conference, more or less defending him.
Siguro the people who had this kind of remarks on me, they should have watched in full the press briefing. What I said is about the narrative or the statement of the Vice President attacking Congressman Romualdez and going to the President. So, I have to tell to the people, this is not supposed to be the procedure. When you say na, and I quote, kung di ako nagkakamali, balita, that's the word, nababalita na siya tumanggap ng suhol. It's all about Romualdez. So, I have to correct that, not to defend Romualdez, but to tell to the people that this should not be the procedure. Not all the people that will be mentioned, they will be considered as already convicted. There's no conviction. That's why ang sabi ko, iba po ang na-mention at iba po yung may conviction sa korte. So, after that, sabi natin, kasi sinabi niya, yung floodgate gown is going to the President. So, I have to refute that allegation. Because the President was the one who started all of this for the investigation of the anomalous flood control projects.
So kaya nyo sinabi yun dahil yung atake kay Speaker Martin ay linked dun sa atake kay President Marcos ni Vice President.
Yes.
Yun yung context. No?
Yes. So from the start pa lang, and I even said in the briefing na hindi ko po dinedepensahan si Congressman Romualdez. Nagkataon lang, ito po yung pinaka-konteksto na sinabi ng Bise. Ini-start na kay Romualdez at nililink niya ang Pangulo. So I have to refute everything na sinabi niya. And kahit naman sino, ito naman ay para in general, applicable na to sa lahat. Hindi lahat na na-mention, lahat guilty na. Yun naman yung gusto nating sabihin.
Totoo naman po
So,
yun.
that's true. But Speaker Romualdez, Congressman Romualdez here has culpability as well because he was Speaker when all of these budget insertions allegedly happened.
It's up to him to defend himself.
Correct. That was the main criticism.
But let me also go another way. when you look at Congress, of course, it is a supermajority who are allies of the president, the administration. In other words, the president wields an incredible amount of influence over almost the entire Congress. So my question is, how can the president dissociate himself from the actions of the people who follow, basically? I know they're supposed to be independent, but of course, in reality, they're pretty much dependent on each other. How can the president dissociate himself from the actions of his allies in Congress where he has a supermajority? That would include, for example, people like, of course, Martin, who is a cousin, and Zaldico, who was part of the leadership and Appropriations Committee chairman for a long for almost the entire 19th Congress. So, yun po, how can the president dissociate himself?
Correct.
From this mess?
And of course, let's not forget what the other analysts have said to us, which is would he have made it to the House leadership if not for President Marcos's blessing?
Of course. Again, we will invoke the separation of powers. Whatever they do, if it is not known to the president, we cannot blame the president on that. That's it. Diba? Easy.
But to Ed's question, can he actually disassociate himself from what went on in Congress, given his very close ties with given the supermajority, given his very close ties with his cousin?
Even if they are cousins, still, if the president does not know anything about what he did, so we can say that the president is innocent of that.
Yusek, would you know kumusta na yung ties nung magpinsan?
Wala siya alam.
Would you know?
We're just saying at the very least, I wouldn't even say command responsibility. It's more of responsible influence.
Hindi naman din po niya alam.
Moral suasion.
Hindi naman po niya alam kung nagme-meeting ito behind his back. Kung nag-meeting ba sila, pumunta ito sa House, pumunta sa Senate, nag-uusap sila. Alam ba ng Presidente?
But he signed the budget.
Still, kahit sinay niya po yan po ang binigay sa kanila,
and he was,
nagkaroon ng veto.
And we know for a fact that he was very unhappy with the 2025 budget. Sila na mismo nagsabi nun.
Benito
yung iba.
Yeah.
What was told to us was Benito at least 26 billion, but he wanted to do more, but they ran out of time. So he knew right from the get-go when he signed that budget, there's something off about it.
That's why he was very careful and is still now careful, and he wanted to investigate everything. Now, kung meron man mga insertions dyan na pinagkaperahan, kung ayoko maging judgmental, kung pinagkaperahan yan, he wants everything to be investigated. That's why.
How would you...
Yusek, kumusta sila ngayon? Sila nang magpinsan. Would you know? Have they been talking? Would you know?
Personally, hindi ko po kasi nakikita si Congressman Romualdez sa vicinity ng Malacanang. So, wala po akong personal knowledge.
Is it true that yung Aguado House belongs to Speaker?
Meron sila Meron sila yung weekend, would you know? Meron sila ng weekend family gathering. Tuloy-tuloy pa ba yun? Would you know?
Hindi ko po alam kung kasama si Congressman kasi nakikita ko sa mga pictures, family lang po talaga ng Marcos eh.
Wala si Kwan doon. Wala si Speaker. Yusek, nung nilunsad ni President Marcos itong mahiya naman kayo campaign, at nag-press con siya at sinimulan niya itong isumbong sa Pangulo with the list of the 15 largest contractors na involved dito sa flood control. Natansya ba niya kung saan ito aabot? Kung natansya ba niya saan ito matatapos? No? Dahil ang tinatamaan kasi primarily is political allies. Ibig sabihin, at the back of his mind, alam niya na ito ay pwedeng umabot sa kanyang political base at hanggang saan niya ito gustong dalhin?
Siguro ang Pangulo po ay wala po kasing iniisip kung may matatamaan o wala. Sinabi naman po niya, kung kaalyado ko kayo at kayo yung sangkot dito, hindi ko na kaalyado. So hindi po niya inisip kung saan to po papunta, kung may matatamaan, basta ang gusto niya po ay maimbestigahan at maging maayos po yung pondo ng bayan.
How far is he willing to go is yung second question ni Ronald, and may tanong doon what Malacanang is willing to do to bring back Congressman Zaldico. Former congressman, I should say, kasi nag-resign na siya.
Well, depende na po yan sa House. At kung may kaso na po yan, if there will be a warrant of arrest,
well, the DOJ put him on blue notice, right?
It's a blue notice. It is all about the whereabouts of Congressman Zaldico. But once there's a case, and once the warrant of arrest is issued by the court, well, he could be considered as fugitive, and there could be a call for a notice or request for a notice.
Or even a cancellation.
Yusek, nabanggit din
passport,
ni President ng Malacanang na the President is ready to undergo a lifestyle check at kasama na doon yung pagre-release ng SALN niya. Kailan kaya yun mangyayari? Can we expect it anytime soon?
Alam ko po, meron pong gagawing memorandum at sa isang ahensya for this lifestyle check. So, inaabangan lang po natin.
What do you mean? Sorry.
Yung SALN niya,
Para kung anong ahensya
i-release
na
ba?
siyang magsasagawa
Sa lahat ng mga government officials.
May isang ahensya na mag-uumpisa noon.
Yes, po.
Or a memorandum
yan.
gagawa nun. Tapos pwede kasi may existing agency na gagawa nun.
To conduct the license.
Lifestyle check
For that.
And how far
from top to bottom?
Let us see, hindi ko pa po nababasa. Hindi ko pa po nakikita kung ano yung
memo.
yung memo.
Kasi that would be interesting eh. I mean, that would be really interesting.
Yung SALN kaya, yung SALN ni Presidente, hindi naman kailangan ibigay yung buong detalye. Nakukuha lang namin nun actually yung parang summary eh. Ano yung asset mo, liabilities and net worth. Yun lang naman. Kasi yung iba, alam ko, I've talked to some officials, sabi nila, natatakot sila na lalabas yung detalyado nila doon ng mga assets. Baka daw sila ng mga criminal or something like that. Anyway, what the people need, yung final declaration lang. Kasi kahit redacted naman yun lang asset mo, liabilities mo, and your net worth. Pwede ba yung makuha na?
Itatanong ko po sa Pangulo. Ang sabi naman po dati ng Pangulo ay handa naman po siya. At itatanong po natin sa kanya.
Sa context nitong ombudsman, dahil with this landscape, very volatile, ano bang, nasa lang yung status ng ombudsman?
It's going to be a very important position.
Ngayon, alam niyo na ba kung paano, anong timeline dito? Dahil very critical at this point.
Sa pagpili po,
sa pag-appoint.
Hindi ko pa po natanong ang Pangulo. Pagbalik ko po dito, babalik pa ako po
Kasi
dito.
tagal na eh.
Because ang daming pending issues that the new ombudsman has to take over, right?
Especially
his or her plate will be very full.
Especially after ni-reject ng Supreme Court yung impeachment. No?
And
the onus will be transferred on the ombudsman.
Yes.
Well, we don't know that with finality. We're still waiting on the Supreme Court's response to the MR by the House, right?
Ma'am, teka, marap up na kasi kami muna ako. Yung September 21, we're trying to wrap our heads around what really happened there. Kasi ang sabi ng pulisya, mga grupo ng mga rapper yan, mga Jejemon. Hindi, Jenjen nata sinabi. Hindi Jejemon eh.
Jeng.
Hindi ko
Jejemon.
Trying kasi maging Jensi.
So we're trying to figure out, so what, kasi on one hand, you have the police saying that, and I think also Mayor Isko Moreno saying na parang something like that eh. On the other hand naman, there was you and there was John Vic Remulla saying that there was an attempt
to burn Malacanang.
To assault Malacanang and burn it.
Meron po nakita talagang video eh. Meron po talagang nagsalita at ihanda ng lighter. Lighter. At sumugod sa Mendiola. Meron po talagang video.
But my question to you is, do you think that there was a concerted, conspired effort to do it, or sila ko lang nagdamdamin yun? Kasi magkaiba yun. It's different when you have a plot to assault Malacanang and conduct an overthrow versus nagkasamaan ng loob at naglabas ng lighter. So,
pag may lighter, may molotov bomb, ihagis lang yan, masusunog talaga yun.
But my question is that was there, from what you've heard from the intelligence of Malacanang and all that, was there really a plot to assault Malacanang and overthrow the government on September 21, 2025?
Parang hindi po ako dapat sumagot dyan. Tanungin na lang muna natin si Secretary John Vic saka si Secretary Boying kung ano nangyari dyan. Kasi alam ko po may mga case na po na nakafile sa Manila.
Okay.
Yun ang latest sa akin.
So ang alam nyo ay talagang may mga grupo at mga tao na may dalang molotov at balak sunugin. At least part ng Malacanang dahil mahirap kasi umabot yung molotov
Ang layo nun.
sa building.
Pag nakapasok sila, di ba?
Okay, we're being told to wrap up, but just let me squeeze in one last very quick question. Set the record straight, Yusek. ICC case ni former President Rodrigo Duterte, is it true that the government has no objections to his interim release?
Miss, that's twisting of facts. From Kaufman? I did not say that. Ang sabi ko po, kung ano man po ang magiging desisyon ng ICC, legal process, hindi naman ito babastusin of course ng gobyerno. Irirespeto po. Pero it doesn't mean that the government
Sinusuportahan
will,
niyo.
yes, or will not object. He did this to the prosecutors, ICC. He also said that. In his first pleading regarding the interim release, he said in his pleadings, he said that the ICC prosecutors or the prosecutors will not object to the application of interim release. So pangalawa na po kaming biktima ni Kaufman.
Okay, so it's Marcos administration has not made overtures to ICC at this point, saying that they
As
don't
well as
object
wala
to
naman
anything.
kayong
Eh, we
legal
have-
role
yes, we
sa
do not have-
ICC.
We have nothing to do with the ICC case.
Okay. We'll leave that there. We've run out of time. Marami pang issues, but we hope to have you back another time. Thanks so much for talking to us today. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you,
I'll be
Yusek.
back.
This is
Thank you,
your
Ma'am.
first in-person.
Oh,
Yes.
ba't ang
Yeah,
bait-bait mo?
First time you guys met in person.
Madalas naman ako mabait.
Subdued siya today, no? Pag in person pala, subdued.
Hindi siya heckler.
Thank you, sir. Ang bait ni Sec Ronald today, ah. Thank you so much for joining StoryCon today. I'm Pumuntuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political pundit. Join us again Monday, 4
Monday.
p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay. Have a safe weekend.
Happy weekend. I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.